Hello, welcome to a new episode of Colors and Flavors podcast. My name is Oyinko. It's always a pleasure sharing this wonderful insights with you about life, love, and faith as a young believer. Awesome. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. So, in this episode, this will be a follow on conversation from the previous episode where we started talking about 9 lifestyle choices regarding money and work to consider while dating. So these are essential conversations about money and work to discuss with your partner while dating. So in part one of this episode, I touched on 6 things. So 6 lifestyle choices about money to consider while dating. First, I talked about spending. So spending habits and the nature of your spending. Second was talking about savings. Number 3 was about investments. Number 4, we talked about borrowings, right? Number 5 was about generosity. And number 6 was concerning personal preferences or money habits that you have. So when we talk about acceptable sources of income, what you both think about contentment or greed, the boundaries you have concerning money matters. How do you split expenses? What do you believe about splitting expenses as a couple? And what the purpose of money is for you as a believer. So if you haven't listened to part one of this episode, part one of this conversation, please do that so that you can follow along in part two and get a wholesome view of this conversation and have them with your partner. Okie dokes. All right, so let's get into part two of this episode. So in this episode, I will complete the list by sharing 3 lifestyle choices about work that you should consider while dating. So these are 3 lifestyle choices about work that I believe are important for you to discuss with your partner while dating. So this will be number 7 on the list of the 9 lifestyle choices. So number 7, and this is about work, is discuss your work choices and preferences. So this one, what I mean is talk about what you define as work, right? And what you believe is an acceptable kind of work for someone to have. So yeah, there are some people who are more focused on building a career in the corporate sector. So theirs is finish up from school, get a great job, and build an excellent career as a professional in the corporate world. Whereas there are other people who believe in entrepreneurship, where they want to create value by owning a business, creating a product, doing something on their own. Neither of those positions are wrong, but I believe it's important that you discuss what you prefer as a person and ensure that you are aligned with what your partner also prefers, right? So discuss it. So if you're someone who does not think that entrepreneurship is the best way to pursue, work as a person, and your partner on the other hand believes, well, careers in the corporate world is good, but they want to build something on their own, it's important that you are aligned because they both take on different challenges. There are 2 different routes, and there is no just one way to succeed. And God actually has different paths that he could have his children take to achieve success. But just be sure that you are aligned so that you are not having issues in actually supporting the plans that God may have given your partner in the route that he wants them to take to achieve success in the world of work. So yeah, discuss your work choices and preferences. Another thing on this is to discuss acceptable jobs and industries that you can take on as individuals and also as believers. So yeah, I know there are lines that might seem blurred in terms of like industries that may seem appropriate for believers to work in, right? So if you're with someone now who is working in an industry that you don't particularly think a believer should be working in, it's important that you discuss that now, okay, while you are still dating. If you're not comfortable with it, mention something now, and also talk about the industry that you work in generally. So even if it's not something that you think is against your faith, but you just believe, oh, this industry, they've got such a demanding work schedule, just make sure that you are comfortable with the industry that your partner is working in, and your partner is as well comfortable with your own work industry, so that both of you can support each other in actually being excellent and successful in your career or in your work. So that's important. So work choices discuss about entrepreneurship versus corporate career, acceptable jobs or industries that you believe is appropriate for you as believers, and also one that you will be happy to support, that your partner would work in long term. All right, now to number 8. So number 8 on the lifestyle choices about work to consider while dating will be in terms of discussing your work culture. All right, so discuss your work culture. And when I mean work culture, what I'm saying is talk about your hustle lifestyles, right? So define what you mean as acceptable also. So there are some people that actually do a whole lot of work, always taking on multiple jobs, always doing something, you just feel like they have to be doing something, money has to be made. So discuss that now. Discuss work boundaries that you would have and that you have currently, work boundaries that you intend to imbibe as a family. Okay, what do they think about work life balance or work life integration? And yes, there is the general assumption that you just might not have that 50-50 balance between work and life, but it's also important that you understand the mindset that you have about work and life, and what your partner also thinks about work and life balance and integrating both of them. What boundaries do they have in place when it comes to work? Are they someone who thinks you can work round the clock, or are they people who prioritize family over work? Do they prioritize their faith over work? What boundaries do they have as regards their relationship with their job? Do they think their job defines them and has to take number one place in their lives? If they are still growing as a believer and they have certain ideas or mindsets that are actually contrary to scripture in terms of not idolizing your work, it's important that you discuss it now and don't assume that, oh, once you get married and once they become a family person, they would automatically just change. No. So if you're with them currently where they don't seem to have time for the relationship because they are consistently working, based on a personal choice that they have or a principle they have that work comes first, it's important that you discuss it now. Discuss it now, and also consider their work hours. So I understand that there are some kinds of job where the work hours are quite demanding. Be sure that you are comfortable with it. Of course, people have to do these jobs, but it's important that if you're going to build a life with someone, you are actually comfortable with the work that they do and you can support them in that line of work. So are their work hours one that you're comfortable with? Are they comfortable with the work hours that you have? If you are building a career in an industry where the work hours are demanding, is your partner comfortable with that and able to support you and also be there to pick up slacks if you're not available because of the kind of work that you do? So discuss that. So that's your work culture. What do you guys define as hustle? What are the boundaries you have in place? What do you think about work-life balance? And what are the work hours that you currently do? What are the current work hours that you currently have? And how do they believe that would impact your future if you do get married? Be sure you're comfortable. And then finally, when it comes to lifestyle choices about work, so this is number 9 on the list, we'll be discussing your career aspirations or your goals. And when I talk about this, these are your plans, your dreams as a career professional. So what are the things you want to achieve? When do you want to achieve them? Do you intend to go back to school to get another degree, to get a master's or an MBA or any of that? Just discuss it now. Okay, don't assume that, or because both of you are graduates, at some point you're both going to pursue a master's degree or you're going to do a qualification in your industry. Talk about it now, okay? Please express those dreams. And I understand that it's possible that you get those plans later on in life, but if you have them now, please discuss with your partner. If you intend to pursue a PhD, it's not when you get married, especially when you already know that that's something that's important on you. So it's important that you express that desire now. Let them know what timeline you plan to achieve it. And of course, things change, but just letting them know and hearing their opinion about it. For example, if you're somebody who believes in pursuing academics to the highest degree, one always going for things, and whereas when you bring up such conversations, your partner shares an opinion that is against what you like or against what you believe, it might already point to the fact that they might not be the most supportive person if you decide to pursue that plan. So please talk about your career aspirations. I'm not saying it is bad. Of course, there is, you know, the healthy boundary you must have as well as a believer, not to idolize work or think that your work defines you. But yeah, excelling in your career is okay, it is acceptable, it is good. Just make sure that you discuss it with your partner before you get married, especially where you already have your plans. Yeah, and on this, I think it's also important to mention that it's good that your partner supports you or supports your aspirations and plans, but it's also more important that they are someone who can enable you. So it's good to have a supportive partner, but it's equally important that you have an enabling partner, because when you decide to pursue your dreams or your aspirations in your career, there will be demands, there will be challenges. So you want to ensure that, okay, even though my partner supports me going after this dream or goal, are they someone who will enable me and allow me to fly and be there to cover me and to be there to cover the gaps when I cannot be as available? So can they enable you to actually pursue that? Would they help you through that process rather than just saying, oh well, I've allowed you to do it, go figure it out? Would they actually enable you in achieving that dream or that aspiration? So that is important. And then finally, in terms of your aspirations, would be discussing what a successful career means for you. So what does a successful career mean for you? What does a successful career mean for your partner? So that you both can see or discuss what that vision is you have for yourselves in terms of work or in terms of your careers, and know if you are both able to support yourselves to achieve these plans. There are cases where two people are great individuals, but together they might not be the best people for each other. It doesn't mean that they are bad people as individuals. They just may not be the right fit for each other. So that's okay. You just must come to terms in that. So you might be great people individually, but you may not be the best people for each other when it comes to achieving the plans that God actually has for each of you as individuals, right? So together there must be a synergy that actually makes things better for both of you. Okay, so yeah, I think that should be all of it in terms of 9 lifestyle choices regarding money and work to consider while you're dating. And I hope you have these conversations and discuss with your partner. All right, so now I'm going to move on to just general tips and advice to help you following the conversation that you have with your partner. So if there are situations where you've talked about these things and you realize that, oh, we are not aligned in certain areas, what do you do? So these are just tips that can help you handle differences that come up based on the conversations you've had about money and work with your partner. And the first thing I would mention here is ask questions till you're both clear. It is possible that you might have misunderstood each other, so make sure you ask questions. I know we've said, oh, you've talked, but still ask questions. So if they've said something that you think you may have understood in a different manner, it's okay to ask questions to clarify, like, oh, is this what you mean? Give scenarios and say, okay, are you saying if this situation arises, this is the decision you would take? Just make sure you ask questions till you are very, very clear that you understand what this difference is, or if you are truly, truly in a position where you have to make a choice on the way forward for your relationship. So ask questions till you are both clear. Ask questions till you're both clear. Now, the second thing I would say when it comes to handling differences is define the nature of your differences and identify the source of your concern. So 2 parts to it. So when I talk about defining the nature of your differences, is categorize it as either a negotiable difference or a non-negotiable thing. So when it's negotiable, it means it's important, but it's not a deal breaker for you. However, if it's a non-negotiable, so if this thing that you are both disagreeing on is a non-negotiable for you, then it means that it's definitely something you need to pay extra attention to. If it's a negotiable, it might just mean that you have to discuss workarounds, solutions to that difference right now before marriage. But if it's a non-negotiable, it means it's probably something a lot more fundamental to who you are as individuals and would greatly impact your marriage if you decide to proceed. So make sure you categorize it as either a non-negotiable or a negotiable, and in that way it would guide you on the next decision to take. And when I talk about the part of identifying the source of your concern or your difference, this is actually investigating why this is a difference to you. So, what is fueling this concern? Why is this such a big deal to you? Why don't you agree? Why do you have the position that you have? Why does your partner have their own position? Investigate the source of that concern. Okay, because it's possible, especially when it comes to talking about money or work. So if you're someone who believes that, oh, for example, a person can only build a successful career when they're in a corporate world, that's the way to have stability in your finances. You need to ask yourself, why do I think this? Is this because that's the only thing I've been exposed to? Is it because I've actually never been close enough to someone who has built a successful business and has built a stable financial life through entrepreneurship? So investigate the source of your concern, because it might just be that you have a bias that is uninformed or based on the exposure that you've had with your upbringing or the environment that you found yourself. So investigate that source of concern. Could it also be that your decision or your own position or the position of your partner is being forward from a place of fear rather than you actually trusting God to provide? So is it that you've actually thought that, oh, the only way to make money is through this? This is what I have to do to ensure that we keep money, or this is what success must be like? Or are you actually trusting God and defining success the way God defines it? Okay, so that's just important. So identify the source of your concern. What is fueling this position? What is influencing this position you have? And why does your partner think the way that they do? So that way you people can actually deal with the root rather than just focusing on cutting down the branches and not attending to the root cause of the issue. Another thing when it comes to source of concern is talk about your past experiences, because it's possible that maybe you have past experiences that are influencing this decision or current positions you have. So just talk about possible things that might be influencing the position that you have currently, whether that's fear, family bias, society expectations, right? Just make sure that you are making decisions based on the word of God as led by God, and also with, the right level of common sense, right? Just don't make decisions based on emotions or based on feelings, right? So make intelligent decisions at this point. Okay, so now number 3, when it comes to handling differences, will be discuss possible solutions for the potential areas of conflict. So where you have seen that, oh, we have differences in this area, figure out maybe there might be solutions that you guys could adopt to resolve any potential conflict that might arise. Because like I said, if it's a negotiable, it means that it's not a deal breaker. So maybe there's a way you can work around things. So think now, okay, if you want to do this, maybe for example, if you want to pursue a particular career goal or career aspiration, you could talk about timelines and say, oh, how about you do this later on, or you do it now? Would changing the time make things better for both of us, or would it, just help us still achieve the goal that we have in mind for marriage without necessarily impeding your own progress in your career? So discuss possible solutions and make sure that whatever solutions that you actually discuss are things that are practical and things that you can see from the current state where you are while you're still dating, that the solutions can actually work. Because don't think of solutions that will work in the future. Let it be stuff that you've got current experiences to back up and support and say, oh, we've applied this solution in some way right now and it seems to be feasible. So in marriage, if we need to scale that solution, we expect it to be feasible, all things being equal, right? Don't plan based on the future that you've not gone into. Plan, think of solutions right now and start implementing to see if they actually work. So if you need to review them, you can do so right now before you do get married. And then number 4 on handling differences would be to seek godly counsel where necessary. Okay, there are instances where these conversations might actually have thrown up a lot of things, and maybe both of you have such high emotions where you're not in the best position to have clear-headed conversations. So please do well to reach out to people who are more matured than you both and discuss with them to say, oh, this is what we're dealing with. Have you dealt with something similar? Especially reaching out to people who may have similar situations that you're currently dealing with, so you can learn from how they've handled their own differences and see if it's something that is workable for you. Just seek counsel. Don't assume that it's just you guys dealing with this thing. Seek counsel and be sure that you've got the right advice. So seek counsel from godly people. That's really important, so that they can give you the right advice, and advice that would also match what the word of God actually says. And then number 5 will be to prayerfully consider the next steps for your relationship, especially where there is a major difference. Okay, please pray about it. God cares. God knows the future. He knows the end from the beginning, and He wants to lead you. His leading seeks you. So pray about it. Consider what the word of God says concerning whatever situation that you are facing. Pray about it. Pray well about it, because this is the rest of your life. This is the rest of your life. Marriage is a big deal. It's a serious thing. So you want to make sure that you are making the best decision as led by God. So please prayerfully consider the next steps of your relationship. Do not be afraid if the decision that you have to make is not one that you expected. Okay, just pray and let God lead you. Now, finally, would be the cautious part of it, right? Number 6 on handling these differences is, please do not proceed to marriage until you are comfortable dealing with the realities of your differences. Okay, do not get married until you are comfortable that I can live with the realities of these differences between my partner and I. Okay, because think about it, what if your partner never changes? I know people change, but what if your partner never changes? Can you live with this person and this choice that you are making for the rest of your life? Can you deal with this habit, this money habit, this work habit for the rest of your life if they never change? Okay, so that's important. And then on this, when I say that you shouldn't proceed to marriage until you are comfortable, it's important that you take responsibility for your decision. Okay, don't leave the decision to your parents or to your guardians or to society, not even to your partner. Even if your partner says, oh, I'm cool with it, make sure you are cool with it. It's your life. Okay, it's your life. So please don't proceed to marriage until you are comfortable that you can live with the realities of the differences that you have and the choice that you are making for the rest of your life. That's very important. Don't outsource that decision to anybody. Even when they have good intentions, it's still your life. So ultimately the decision is yours to make. Both you and your partner must agree that you are comfortable and can live with each other for the rest of your lives if you never change your positions about these choices on work or money. All right, so enough said. That's a lot of great things that I've shared with you, and I hope and pray that you take them as seriously as you should. Have these conversations, discuss with your partner. And if you have any questions regarding anything that I've spoken about in this episode or the previous one, please do well to leave a comment on the website at colorsandflavors.com. You can use the link in your episode note. And if there's any other thing that you believe I should have mentioned, or you think it's important that people talk about when it comes to money and work as well before getting married, please leave a comment to that as well, so that we can help one another make the right choices. Okay, thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I trust that you found it helpful. Please let me know. Say thank you. It was good. I love this. What stood out for you? Thank you, and all of that. So thank you so much again. Till the next episode. Take care. Cheers.